About what?
Top 5 TVs?
Yeah, but I think...
Okay, take us
TVs
away.
Start with the old Avant, or the real flat one, because
Did you own one?
Yeah, I had one for like 1 or 2 days just because to have it. But I always like the design because it looks so slim, but realistically, if you look at it from behind, it was huge.
Oh yeah, when it turns on a stand and it's just...
Yeah.
It was 32 inches, like diagonal and deep almost.
Yeah, it's as wide as it's deep, or it's as wide as it's narrow.
Yeah, but the DVD version of it was, splendid. If the DVD ever worked, it never did it on the.
Did you have it on the top or on the bottom?
On the top.
Okay.
I think it was very cool when you can still see the. There's a small geekiness. Yeah, small geekiness, and also the sound was. As everybody said, they put like 2 BeoLab 4000 in the TV, so it's one expensive.
You know why they moved that mechanism up top to TV?
No.
David Lewis got tired of it just said it didn't make sense. I'm like, why would I have to bend down to put this, where we could
great
just
designer that way. Yeah.
You could just, here you go, where's all my control panel, right? Because there's the buttons on the Avants were from the back on the right side. And
yeah,
the top
wasn't the Avant with the curved screen that it had the VHS in it? Still, the VHS was below it.
Yeah,
no, I think it was AV9000 system, wasn't it? I think it was the AV.
Yeah, but wasn't that one version or something?
Yeah, I think so, because I think we had one.
Because the later versions of the
they had the DVD.
They have DVD, but they also have the VHS in the top.
Mm-hmm. Was there a version of it also that the speakers would come out?
Yeah, that was the
AV5 or...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
A different product.
But that was a nice... So, yeah. So what's another one?
For number 4, so... I don't know if I would go for Beovision, like the 10, 11, 14 design. Because whenever you look at the design, it look perfect, and almost the old Beovision 5s almost. It's old design, but still works. I mean, it's bulletproof.
Yeah.
It sets the TV apart from regular plasma and old TV.
Well, it's a form of art, more or less, right?
By the way, coming back to the CRT Avant with the VHS, I finally found one where you can sort of see where the flap is. It should be up in chat now. Like my cursor's on it. That's where the VHS went in.
Yeah.
That's the one we had, and then those used Philips pictures.
Yeah.
Or the Philips screens.
Tubes, yes. Yeah, they were all Philips. Even the drives, I think, were Philips. But Philips was very good in mechanisms. Some of them used Nakamichis, but not TVs. That was more or less for I think BeoSound 1 used the Nakamichi mech, which was one of the most expensive mechanisms that Nakamichi was selling that they were putting into the BeoSound ones. But I digress from TVs. Anyways.
Yeah,
so number 4.
The number 4 is the 14, the 11, all those kinds of designs of TV.
Are you sure you can put them in the same category? Because the I would even say the 10 is better than the 14.
10 was more refined.
Yeah. Because the 14 was, to me, kind of shit with the Android thing.
Yeah, but I still see them as the design of having a picture and almost the same.
The progression of that design, yeah.
Yeah, just seeing the screen and the speakers in one, package was very big, but it made this appearance in the home.
Yeah.
Compared to the Beovision 4 at that time, and later that was just a TV. This was complete art they put in your home, and especially with the 14, the end of it. The really sad part about the 14 was its name. When you have the Eclipse and Avant and have the 14, I think it should have more majestic name to it because it was very, very...
Yeah, but in the same token, that was more or less a shock pedal Beovision 11. That's all that was. They just brought it back to life with the 4K display and a different video engine in it.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they should not have discontinued that TV, but then again, they've parted with Samsung, so therefore there was the natural progression. In my opinion, what they should do, I think, is they should reintroduce it with an LG OLED panel inside it.
Yeah.
And, but I don't know if then the problem would be if you do the OLED panel in front of the contrast screen, will that have anything as far as the negative impedance on it, right? Like, because now you're introducing glare in front of it. So I don't know. But then again,
would probably say yes, but
yeah, I think that would have a negative impedance on it.
But I'm almost not sure you would actually need to put glass in front of it anymore.
Well, that's what I'm thinking too.
Because you could sort of continue the design and just make it even slimmer.
Yeah.
And just not have glass, but do have like the aluminium and the covers that you can change.
Yeah.
Acoustically, that's TV stuff, in my opinion. If you're doing it too thin, because then you're starting to get into the depth problems with driver's placement and everything else. That's the biggest issue, right?
Yeah, but even with the Eclipse, you can take about half an inch off the back because it's mostly metal.
Yeah, I do agree and disagree depending on how you. Well, for the cable management, then it doesn't allow for, right? Like there's always these like.
Yeah, but the 11s, 10s, and 14s didn't allow for much cable management.
They didn't allow for shit. That these TVs are cool in the catalog without being plugged in ever. Like, I don't even understand how would you fully plug in a BeoVision 10 on the wall with
you take it off, you plug everything in, and you put it back on the wall again. That's how we did it.
Well, no, but like talking, it would just like I've had enough stuff plugged into it. You know, when you run 3 HDMI cables out and a couple of those multi cables, like it now starts to fight the magnet that the TV clamps onto when it's closed on the wall, and it starts to, like now you have that like half-inch, like the door is ajar, right? So is the bloody TV now.
Like
and I've seen it in some.
The sort of plastic back cover, we never had that on because it just wouldn't close anymore against the wall.
No, that's exactly it. And that TV was not really designed for.
Use some tie rips, put something underneath it, and fine, good to go.
Yeah, that's a problem in my opinion. I've had problem with it, especially when you have the wall bracket that you only had about 2.5 centimeters clearance, where was the bottom of the edge of the TV and the bottom of the bracket, and that's where you had the cable management come out, right?
Yeah, it wasn't ideal, but yeah.
On the BV10, I liked the way that they did the frame, because the frame was actually 2 shells. It was quite an expensive TV because of the manufacturing process, and the frame on the top was double anodized. So it was ground out, and then they anodized the black, and then they polished, it was polished first and anodized silver, and then they grind out the inner edge, and then they anodized that black, because whatever anodized, it doesn't anodize again. It doesn't take on the color because the pores are sealed in the aluminum. So, and then they anodized that, so that I like that machine rigid, like you can cut the crap out of your hand and toes on that TV if you weren't careful walking around it. But it was a beautiful TV. Plus, it allowed for that glass to be recessed far enough that the grill cloth wouldn't protrude, because on the BeoVision 11s and 14s it stuck out. Hence the fact how the frame therefore gotten cheaper, because it was a solid extrusion. It wasn't the shell where, like the frame on the BeoVision 10, the back frame is mounted to the back of the panel of the TV, and the front glass is the front glass of the TV. So they're quite different now. So
yeah, I also really like the easel stand, although I didn't have it. We had it wall mounted, but even the easel stand was very.
It makes the TV look so relaxed. It's very nice. I very much like it in the easel stand.
That's why I like TVs that are slightly tilted.
And they
look, they look the TV looks so relaxed, and the picture angle I think is better.
So what would be your number 3?
I think it will be the BeoPlay V1 TV. It was the first TV I ever had that was a BeoVision TV, or if we ever call it that. But it was for me. I had it in my student apartment when I was a student, and
with the Lab 9s.
Yeah, as every student should have. But
nice. Right on.
I liked that it was so much all-in-one product that time, and the picture and the music, it was easy to connect speakers to it. And
did you have it on that weird rollable stand, or just wall mounted?
Wall mounted at the first, but the thing for my apartment that time, I had it so I can put it out to the right, But then when my girlfriend moved in with me, just before we moved here, so we made change. So the TV we put it on the other way, on the other wall. But then the wall bracket would fit.
Oh yeah, it doesn't flip. It's only one way.
If you can look at my YouTube channel, you can see that when I have it, everybody's commenting, "Well, you had it on the wrong way around." But that was the solution.
I know.
For it.
I was hoping to turn my TV around too with the V1, and you couldn't because I have the right hand side bracket and left hand side. And you only need that goofy plate because everything else can fit.
Yeah, but also what you talked about
is drilled. That's the
cable. The cable management wasn't great in the back because the small plastic still on my TV I have here is very bent because all the cables you're pushing in it. So
I've never had an issue with it, but I found it. Yeah, if you do a lot of cable management in it or a lot of cables or a lot of hookups, then it's a problem. But I have mine V1 always either on the matrix.
The TV on the rear. I have the TV monitor. I have the the visor, not visor, but the Wi-Fi.
Oh, the wireless module. Yeah. Oh man, that thing is big too.
Yeah. So
it's the size of an Apple TV, for God's sakes.
Yeah, and also had the Apple TV, and all bent HDMI cable.
You got it swollen up a little bit there.
Yeah. So and I also had a lot of cables to it, so it's hard to. But I like the design. I also like with all Bang & Olufsen products. What I really like with a great Bang & Olufsen product, you can place it however you want, on the floor, on the bench, on the ceiling, for God's sake. So
that was a good TV to hang. I never hung it on the ceiling. I'm keen on purchasing a stand for it or
never saw it. I saw it at the museum that was they hang it on the ceiling, but
the only where that I've seen it is in Herning. They've had it done. But to make it look clean, you have to have the TV on the HDMI matrix, because you can only have one that feeds the power and the other one line that feeds essentially the cat cable into it. Yeah. And then you can just show it off, right? So then it's as sleek as it can get. Otherwise, the TV doesn't make sense because it looks like shit when you have all it looks like vines now full of cables going into the ceiling. But I really like that TV. Most hated one that I fell in love with.
But I think my number 2 is the Avant, the new one, or the first.
The next generation?
Yeah, no, not
the Mark 1.
Yeah. That's also the first TV that I got when I moved here. And at the time when it was released, there was the BeoVision 11, and at that price, the BeoVision 11 was more pricey on the 1080 screen than the 4K version of it, and they had the floor stand that moved much better. They have the speakers come down. There's much more stuff to it. So for me, it was almost a cheap TV to have, and the wow factor and the technical geekness to it.
I really love the mechanized movement of the Vans. They're just
you blow people away. Every friend I had show it, and I was amazed, especially when the speakers. When I moved the TV and started the TV, you see the screen open, and there was like, wow, and I told them, wait, and the speaker goes down. Yeah, and wait, and they go out, yeah. So,
but, on the Avant, the table stand is still my favorite one. That is so cool.
It's very underrated. How
how much weight that thing lifts so effortlessly. Every time you turn it on, that 56 kilos.
The amount of design into the wall bracket, that is one big arm that hinges to it. Much better design to it than that, rather than the.
Well, the crane arm made a lot more sense because then you could hide the cables in the crane, right? And then it just made it much more friendlier for installers like myself to deal with.
The only flaw I saw to the floor stand was that we couldn't put the cables through the tube. You have to put them.
Yeah, but if you think about it mechanically, that's impossible.
Yeah, but it's like now with the same with the BeoVision Eclipse here, that the cable just hangs. I haven't.
The only solution there is to it is to have the cable outlet essentially almost a little bit above the center of the TV.
I've seen people done that.
I've done it in few installs, and then you have just enough sway or swoop in the cable that you don't see it from the bottom, and it disappears essentially, right? You don't see it at all because you don't really pay attention to it when you walk by the TV. You just see that little thing hanging to it.
Yeah.
So
The only other thing I can think of is have extension cables pre-fitted, sort of.
Yeah.
Like HDMI extension, PowerLink extension, that it goes through the frame so that it always has enough length to follow the TV, and that you then, the normal, let's say, HDMI and PowerLink, you put somewhere on the bottom of the stand. That would be the best way. Almost like have the stand be a hub for all the cables and whatnot. That would be the best way to hide stuff. But it's probably going to get very expensive very quickly. Especially compared to like that sock thing. Yeah.
Yeah, stand would be thick, and then you're making you would probably only have to feed only HDMI cable into the TV, right? Just so it communicates in one way or another.
Yeah. But the only bad thing I think the Avant for me is that the good thing is, the technical geekiness of showing off people the screen opening and the screen. Yeah, but
isn't that what half of Bang and Olufsen is about anyway?
Yeah,
showing off technical geekiness.
Sometimes at night when you have the control, the remote, and you accidentally would like to press pause button and you accidentally
turn the TV off.
Yeah, and then the whole thing is in the process. And stop it, and
but it can. That's what's good. When you turn off the Eclipse, you can't really restart it. It shuts itself down, then you can start it back up.
Yeah.
Eclipse, you could go or Avant when it was oh no, never mind, and speakers would start going back, and you can see the curtain, But it was a nuisance. But it was the remote control, right? Well, then again, you could have still had a BO6 or BO4 at that time with the Avant, because it would allow for it. Where now it's all Bluetooth, right?
BO4 is still the best remote in my opinion.
So, what do you think about my number one? What do you guess?
The BeoVision 822?
I would say BeoVision 12.
The BeoVision 12 is great, and I like the BeoVision 8 also. 8 and 12, perfect, especially the 8. But the essence of the 8, I think, is the MX series.
Yeah.
So that is my number one because it's old school. It's bulletproof. It still looks great today. I like the stand, the floor stand for it, and
when you play the old school Nintendo, it's still the same resolution.
Yeah. So I just wish that my parents had one as my kid, as when I was a kid. I wish that we had one because it had blew me away already then. But I have gotten it in later years to put in my parents' home and just to have gaming and old school because it's brilliant both in sound and everything. So
we're talking about the 8, right? I'm showing the right one.
No, the MX 8000 or 7000.
Sorry, I thought you said the 8.
Yeah, it would have been, but the MX is the essence of it. The 8.
MX.
Is it? Is that where it came from, more or less?
Yeah, I think the design, the small speaker. Same with the Beo Play TV. You have the speaker small. The portion of it, compared to the screen, is more.
Oh, I think actually my neighbor has this TV still. She uses it as her main TV.
Yeah, and check if you can see the picture of it from the side because it looks very slim for a CRT TV.
Soon enough, I'll see it.
Yeah, me too.
The internets are coming. There it is. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
I like that TV too.
Especially on that floor stand, I think.
Mm-hmm. That was motorized as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice TV.
They knew how to make stuff back then.
Properly, even though people hacked it and then, it's all Philips. Well, still works.
Philips couldn't do this. Even with their own parts, they couldn't do it.
No. Well, most
Steve,
of the
you
parts
can
different.
Google the MX, BeoVision MX 8000. I think there should be a picture of it with the TV.
That was a wider screen at that point, wasn't it?
Yeah, but on the floor with the easel stand, and there are 8,000 speakers on the side to it. It's a very nice look to it. Very modern. Still looks modern today.
So, sorry, what do you wanted me to Google?
The BeoVision MX 8000.
That's what I'm showing. This is
so
Google
it should be a picture of it on the floor with the
This
pair of.
one? Oh, you'll see in like 12 seconds probably.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I can see it.
There we go. It should be here now. Oh, come on. Why am I so slow in the replay?
No idea. Told you, pinch your Cat 5 cable, bro.
Is this the one
Kink.
you were referring to?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
No, yeah.
I like that TV.
It's
That was
very
the one in the
clean
Sture
look.
Museum, wasn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was in a Sture Museum. Yeah, and the CRT was getting thinner and thinner at those years now, too.
Yeah, but instead of doing all plastic bulky, they just used so it, the what do you call it, the magnets.
Magnets?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the magnets tube and the CRT components. The big stuff that goes behind the screen that makes the CRT works. They just put just so much plastic or metals. It's big and hefty and it's weight like 38 kilos or something. It's
Wow.
yeah, it's big stuff.
That's a
Yeah, but
heavy eye. Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my top one. Like the essence of a TV is.
I would have never thought that.
No, I would have never either.
Yeah.
No,
It's like in the art of the modern art museum of the best looking
Yeah.
TV. So yeah.
I think I would go on the list very quick because my top 5 would be, or bottom 5 would be BeoVision 5. That TV, I still have it, and I really like that. Just the design language that David Lewis did with it.
Yeah.
Number 2.
So you go from you go from 5th place, or you go?
No, sorry, from the number 2, I guess, or number 4 from the bottom. If I were to go, the 4th one would be the BeoVision 9. That was just an upgrade to it. I lived with that TV for years. Absolutely love it. It was everything that BeoVision 5 wasn't, which was HDMI capable.
Yeah.
And
That was a big thing back then. Yeah.
well, of course it is still now, right? But you can buy stuff on Amazon now. But I like the BV5 because it was wall mountable, right? And then you couldn't do it on the 9 because it was obviously a 127 or 125 kilo panel.
Yeah, when I bought my the guy had the BeoVision 9 at his home, and I have never really seen it. Seen it in shops and stuff, but at real home is very big. I mean,
yes,
very big.
It's a massive presence to it, right? It's in the shop, it doesn't look that big, but I found the picture on it was just superb. I loved and hated the 7.4 inside it because it kind of looked different. I wished it didn't have it, but then once you start listening to it, wow, like this really sounds good. The stand, motorized, of course, on all of them. 8 would be the number 3, 832. And essentially that's the TV that I gave to my sister for one of her birthdays.
But I like the 40-inch better, I think.
40-inch is cool, but
it had a full HD
like
panel also.
Yeah, but it definitely is. But I've gotten my hands on it. I just found it's very cute because it's a small, she's got a smaller department. Like it works really well in like a studio, right? So
yeah, I like that my neighbor has it. He has the TV on that side of the wall. So he has the TV, the 32 is right under the window, and it has 2 black 9s next to it.
Nice.
Very clean, 2 sofas. So
that's wicked. Yeah, I really like the TV, and I really like that basically the hockey stick profile of it, right? Because it had that side lip. It was acoustically superb comparing to anything out there. It
Very
even
bold
sounded,
design.
in my opinion, yes, but it sounded better. The 40-inch sounded better than a BB 1040.
Yeah, it was almost my first TV, but then the BeoPlay just arrived, and the 8 was a little bit outdated.
I love the logo, how they've just done the discrete logo on the grill, where it's it's big fat bang, but you gotta see it in a certain angle only, or you'll see it in a certain angle only. I really like that TV.
Yeah.
On the third or second place, I guess I would place the BeoVision 12 with the BeoSystem 3 and then later BeoSystem 4 platform. System 4 more or less because it just looked like the Avants and everything else as that era is. And number 1 for me is to this day still BeoVision Avant. the 2000 I guess 14. I like it.
Yeah.
I love the celebration of the movement in it. I love the fact that it was the first TV that just basically it transformed and unfolded itself in front of you to give you that full experience, right? Which, you know, it's kind of dead in the Eclipse now. There's really no movement other than the stand, and if you decide to put it on a wall bracket, then it's just a boring display, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's no magic even with the curtains, right? Where you slap the Avant on the wall, there is still that magic, right? Even though it does look boring as a boring monitor panel, once you turn it on, and, you know, also the chromatic measurement is another that is more or less important thing to me, because of where I live, how the colors change. And, you know, I guess once you live around B&O's TVs for, you know, 10, 15 years, you get accustomed to the picture quality so bad that when you go to the restaurants or whatever and you see, you know, like the regular third-party, you know, Samsungs and whatnots, like just lag and jitter and everything's choppy and colors are over the top and everything's all over the place. And people, oh my God, look, it's a great picture here. I'm like, what are you, blind, for God's sakes? Like, you know, like, fudge, how do you see that? Just a good picture. But then they come in, it's like, wow, like, that's a crazy picture, you know? So my number one is Avant. When it comes to the picture quality, I wish that the Avant was reintroduced with the Eclipse's panel. That's the only thing. That it's just an over the top.
You could basically say that for any design except for the Eclipse.
Exactly. That's just like put the plasma screen and everything other than the Eclipse or the
revive the design of both the Avant and the BeoVision 14 with the newer displays. Yeah,
something that, you know, it's those TVs stood the test of time. Well, look at it. BeoVision 5 came out in 2003, 4, when somewhere around there, that era, if not 2. So that shape of the square TV just evolved over the years and now decades, I guess, because now we're looking at it more or less 15, 16 years later, and we still, well, no, not anymore now, I guess, because the 14 is gone, but it's still on the website, so I guess I would call it current, just like the BeoSound Moment is. And yeah, that's basically where it is. Yeah, well, I don't know what to do with that, right, because people ask for it still.
And I like the difference between the BeoVision 11, 14 compared to the Avant, because, you know, the 14 is a big statement in your house. It takes place, but the Avant is, you know, goes away.
Yeah, it goes away. Yeah. It hides itself.
Yeah, so it's very discreet in the house. So, yeah. Michael?
Mine is slightly different. My number 5 never made any sense, but it's still so awesome I want to have it, and that's the BeoVision 403.
Why? That's so big, man, and heavier than cardinal sin.
I would just use it as a wall, basically, and turn my wall on every so often.
Number 5 is a 450, 485, or 103, you said?
Yeah, because I saw one secondhand for sale not too long ago. It was still 20 grand.
Have a picture on it. They have a picture on it. It's coming soon.
No, actually, BeoVision. What is it? 4-103.
Wow, that thing is just immensely big.
Yes.
And it's heavy. The TV is 5.6 kilos.
Yeah, it's enormous, yeah.
There's no way you can get that in the house you're in right now.
It wouldn't fit in the elevator.
Well, you'd have to hire a company, take a window out on a balcony, or
it would fit through the balcony. It would, yeah. Because the doors are enormous here. But
there is a video of a guy getting it at home with a big crane.
Yeah, the crane. Fuck, I wonder how much that would cost to rent out to get that. Well, I guess when you're doing $100,000. But yeah, that TV is awesome. As far as awesome is concerned, it wouldn't fit here no matter what. But
or have something like this where you'll show up for you in a moment, where you have a BeoVision 403 up front with a BeoLab 10 below, and then you have 6 BeoLab 5s around it.
Yeah, that's a classic photo. Yeah, that's a classic photo. That would be the ultimate back then.
Yeah, money.
Still now, I think it is. Yeah, that would be. It would be an experience. Yeah, that's the photo there. I remember that.
Was it the Panasonic or the Philips that made the screen for it? Because
Panasonic did. Yeah, it was Panasonic Pro panels.
Yeah, I've seen the Panasonic version of it, just the 103-inch big screen.
Yeah. But then you clad all that aluminum and metal and all that freaking actuators from the floor stand, and you end up with 506 kilos and a structural engineer's approval before you can get it in the house.
Yeah, so who cares? It's baller. You're literally
seriously
balling out when you do something like that.
Oh, for sure. But that was one of the requirements, that you'd have to have a structural engineer sign off on the floor of the TV where the
Maybe
placement
this shows
is.
it a bit, but it's also like 2 feet deep.
Oh yeah, no, it's huge.
Enormous.
So what's your number 4?
For me, that's the Avant 32 DVD.
Yeah.
On the top. Yeah.
Yes. Well, you could have the first, if I remember correctly, the first few Avant 32s with flat screen also came in VHS. And then, like 2 years later or a year later, the DVD came out.
And they changed it over, and then the DVD got put
and
on
then
top.
you literally could stand and you press the button eject and the thing comes up, and that thing was fantastic. That thing was bulletproof.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
it still turns on to this day.
Yeah, it was. The DVD function isn't bulletproof.
I guess we never had that issue then.
No, because if you look at the second-hand market, none of them works. Everybody has a problem with the DVD malfunctioning.
Well, it's most likely that they worn out the laser mechanism. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
That's why it's not working. It's the same thing with the 9000s. They're rated for 5,000 hours. After that, then you should replace it, or 10 years, right? Because the max, the lenses, everything is, it's still time that is against it. And also depends where you store it. If you have it, sun beating on it for 7-8 hours a day somewhere in the kitchen, then obviously it's not going to last as long as if it's sitting somewhere in a shady corner of the house, and
But again, you'll be able to see it in a second. But those Avants really had that same sort of cloth issue thing, where it literally pulled the dust through the speakers, and you could see them after a few years.
Very clear, especially the silver one. Yeah,
and that's the one we had. So it was very visible.
That sucks, because but you can vacuum the cloths.
Yeah, but you never got it out again.
Yeah, once it's in, it's in.
Yeah, and that was kind of unfortunate. Anywho, third, I would put the sort of regular Avant, but only Mark 1.
Yeah.
Yes, I wouldn't. No, then I would never go to the next generation. Yeah,
I mean, especially if you'll see it looks like a totally different TV on the table stand, the electric one, where it moves like that.
Yes.
When it's off, it doesn't even look like the Avant. I almost missed it. And that's it's to me still gorgeous. It's a bit.
The design has elements that from the old Avant, from the 32-inch.
Especially that top bit. Where
exactly.
Well, even the square, I think the frame was also a very big reference to the Avant generations, prior. The whole thing was done very nicely. I think Thorsten did an amazing job on that TV. The Eclipse, I like it. It's grown on me, but it's still. You know what? For me, the Eclipse, it's not the design that killed it. It's the lack of DNA. The lack of the Beo DNA. There's not.
Yeah, even though I have the Eclipse now, the Avant is better looking and more technical geekiness, but the picture quality and the sound is better, so that's why I have it.
I almost felt like they
user friendly.
I almost felt like they looked at their old design and then decided no peaking, sort of from afar it almost looks like we wanted to make a new version of the 14, 11, and 10, but we can't make it too similar, so we have to have something sticking out that comes from a whole nother generation 20 years earlier.
Yeah. That people almost have
the AV5 sort of, because I heard that reference come from Bang and Olufsen at some point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a mix of the 10, 11, 14 and the AV5, and I was like, that makes no sense to me.
To me, it's more or less like a splashed up against the wall flattened 740.
Yeah.
Or 755. when you remove the DVD grill or the DVD aluminum part and just put the 7.2 directly underneath it, or 7.6 rather, sorry, so then it sticks out proper.
Yeah.
And that's it. I think that was the only, but if they just reintroduce the curtains and stuff that, like, this is all software issues. There's nothing complex to it. Like, it's not, the AV9000 system where you got to make those things mechanical. Like, it's just, why not have that TV close off? I don't care I like the logo on the Eclipse when it turns on. I prefer that more. And simply because it depends on how your table structure is set up. If you have the off-at TV standby, then the TV, when it turns on, then sometimes you don't see the curtains come on, or you see just the edge end of it because the picture kicked in and a DVI or not DVI, but HDMI feed came in from the whatever Shaw box or cable box you have that comes in and the picture comes through, right? Because that's delayed. So for me, I don't care for that. I can just, I'm okay with the Bang and Olufsen logo come up and then the picture just flies in.
But when you shut it off.
But when you shut it off, that, for me, I guess as a long-time B&O TV owner and enthusiast and collector, and had this shit for a long time, that psychological closure is missing. To me.
Yeah.
For me, it's actually the other way around. I miss it more when starting up. Like, I could actually live if it just went black and said Bang & Olufsen until it was in its off position. But I
don't really see that TV when it turns on a lot, right? I turn it on and I go do something else, or I press it, or, more or less it's tied into the gateway, so I don't even see it happen, right?
Yeah.
It's just,
well, 9 out of 10 times I get my stuff, I get my drink, I get whatever, I get my snack. Sit down and turn it on.
Turn it on. Yeah,
that's
I do it the
usually how I roll.
I'm from the BeoSystem 1 and 3 eras when you turn it on, you go get something, you come back, and curtains open.
It's only just on.
Still hope it will be a software stuff where you can put it on certain source or something, when I can use the My buttons, you can press it and you have the Oppo start, you have the TV then in cinema mode and all that. But otherwise, when I just want to press and watch the TV, I don't care. I just want the TV to start very fast. So
the
completely black Bang Olufsen's screen is more Bang Olufsen, I think, rather than the cinema. But when it closes, I think, as you said, Willie, it's more like a closure thing. So
yeah. The TV is going away, right? Like the pictures, the show's over and the curtain's drawn. That's basically.
Yeah, that was always super cool. That the picture literally kept on going, but. Yeah. It wasn't like it was all of a sudden a still picture and it did that.
Yeah.
It literally felt like you were literally pulling the curtains and you could sneak through it.
Yeah, sneak behind it and see. And I like that a lot on it. That the picture shut off when the curtains.
Especially
closed.
Movies at night when the end titles go up and then you pull the curtains. Well, now it's time to go.
Yeah.
Lucky movies, yeah.
So actually, my number 2 TV, my number 2 TV is a 1265.
Nice.
And again, it's such an art piece.
Yeah.
I mean, it just looks fantastic, especially if you combine it like in the picture I'm showing now with 12.3s.
Yeah, that TV was made. I think those speakers were made for that TV. To be honest, like it's the design language with the center channel of the 12 with the 12.3s on the wall.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, the height is almost the same, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think this is also the only Bang & Olufsen TV I would never consider having on a stand.
No, ever. It was never. I don't think it was ever meant to be on a stand.
And the picture quality of it is, super perfect with that neoplasma screen. It was,
It still holds its own today, quite honestly.
Yeah, and I have been thinking of getting it, but maybe too big for it. But I like it.
Yeah, and then my absolute number 1 is a specific model. It's the 1155. Because it's more complete than the 1146. It has 2 more drivers. The sound is better. It's about the right size for a fantastic 1080p screen, and it has one.
Yeah.
And it came with WiSA, and it came with Wi-Fi, and it was somewhat smart. Not that I would particularly care, but. And you could still use
worked on it.
Yeah, and you could still use the BO4 remote, and to me it's still better than the 14 by miles because it's solid and I don't remember many software glitches from the beginning ever. That was still like a sort
They
of
were ironed out on the V1 platform. When the V1 came out in like the early Mark 1 BeoVisions, the software was semi-terrible on some things, but it was way better than it was.
Because on the Wii One, I noticed at start when I used like a PlayStation, the game mode or the game.
Yes.
It was it was super laggy. You couldn't play any games on it. But then, like 2 or 3 months, they fixed it. So now I use the computer screen and it's very fast. But I think the BeoVision 11 had that maybe at the start, but no, I don't know. Maybe they fixed it.
Yeah. And if at all possible, I would get the one thing I would sort of cheat and grab from the BeoLab or BeoVision 14 is the oak grills.
The grills. Yeah. I know many people have done it.
And then you have the perfect TV for probably the next 4 years, because the black is black enough that you don't really miss OLED.
No.
I was just in a situation when I got the Eclipse, there weren't any 1155s available in the second-hand market, really. And I could still buy them from the dealer, the TVs, but they would still charge you $7,000 for one.
Yes,
and it was like, I'm not going to do that.
Then they want to recoup their cost on it too, I'm sure, right? But then
sure, day, understandable, but
I like the price drop
that the technology moves. Yeah.
And it's
price
just
drop from it from the start.
Yeah,
it was very pricey. It was over 1,000 or 10,000 or what was it in euros?
Well, Avant was $1,000 cheaper than the 11s back in the day.
Yeah, but then they dropped it rather drastically.
They went the other way around, because they realized like, oh shoot, we're not going to be selling these against those.
No,
yeah.
So.
But again, this TV goes with everything. Like there's systems for it, so you can hang 1,000 things on the back of it that you'll never ever see. It looks good on an easel stand. It looks good up against the wall. It looks good on the motorized stand.
Or wall bracket, yeah.
And
I only missed that they have the Eclipse and Avant. They're getting it more towards you.
If it had a planetary stand, that would be the ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it's probably too heavy though for it, because
that's
like
what I'm thinking. The weight offset issues you would be having.
Yeah.
But then again, if you look at it, BeoVision Avant 55 is 53 kilos.
Yeah, but the 1155 is heavier than that, because my 1046 was something like 50 kilos.
Something to look into.
I'll have a quick Google.
Quick Googles.
Uh,
I would say that my bet that the 1155 is about 62 kilos.
Yeah.
Most likely, yeah.
That's my just shot in the dark, as far as that is concerned. But I'm not sure.
Where they never give you weight specs.
Are you looking into what's it called on the Beo World?
Yeah. Because
I'm gonna tell you. BeoVision 1155.
Yeah, you only really know that it's fucking heavy. I mean, the 1146 or the 1046 was already almost uncarryable.
By yourself, yes, for sure. Dimensions.
Yeah, and you wouldn't say that when you looked at it.
Okay, 1140 is 41.5 kilos. 1146 is 48 kilos, and I was not far off. 63.5 is for the 1155.
Yeah, that's about the weight of my girlfriend.
There you go.
It was the same as the TV. Like this thing is.
I'm sure she doesn't have sharp edges around her though.
Yeah.
Cut the hell out of your hands.
Depends on what I do. I can make them come out.
That's too funny.